Hello, 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 everyone. Here is Uncle Joe coming your way, and you're welcome to this beautiful podcast. And I am not alone in this house today. Right beside me is a gentleman, right? And I believe you love to meet him. Okay, so let me allow him, introduce himself to you. Perhaps you can start by seeing his admirable face. Okay, over to you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, Uncle Joe. It's a pleasure. It's my delight to be on this podcast. So my name is Korede Alayaki, and majorly I'm a Yoruba man.
Okay.
And just let me put it, I'm just a finance and investment coach. I teach on finance, personal finance, business finance, and investments.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I know, of course, our guest tonight has put it simple because he's a very simple man, has simply put it, right? But I'm going to read out a bit of his profile here so you can, have an idea of who he is, okay? So Mr. Korede right here is a business and finance coach, just like you said, and a consultant to, close to 2 decades of experiences, cutting across healthcare, hospitality, FMCG, education, and real estate industry. He was the business manager of medium-sized healthcare facility for 11 years before he resigned to co-found Calvary Digital and associate in Calvary Homes Limited in 2017 and 2022 respectively. He studied accounting and economics from Moshood Abiola Polytechnic and University of Ibadan, respectively. He is an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. He has a YouTube channel where he teaches on finance, business, and investment. And is happily married to Mayokun Alayaki. So please, a round of applause as I officially introduce to you Mr. Alayaki. Thank you for that. And I forgot to add, he's also very active on TikTok. In fact, before the production, we were discussing, his exploit on TikTok. And I know you're going to, check him out and check the beautiful things he's doing. So we don't have much time. Tonight, right about now, we have a very critical discussion, we're bringing your way. And that is the discussion on couples and finance. Money. I believe and I know that with the current economy and with the current, stride of things, you agree that money is a very critical. Introduce you, or I'm going to allow my guests do justice to that discussion, by giving us a tip of the iceberg. So I'm going to ask him right away. Mr. Korede, you're welcome again to this podcast. Thank you for coming. Okay, so this discussion, can we just start from the angle of the importance of money, particularly when it comes to the family? Maybe, do you have a personal experience that has that you've learned from and that has served as a springboard to your being passionate about, what you do as a finance coach? What's your story like in summary?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, my hosts. From talking about my experience, I will say, reading my profile, you could say that, okay, I studied accounting, economics, everything I've been doing, maybe right from my institution days has been numbers, which has to do with money and finance.
Okay.
But I want to say that most of those things we talk about, they are just theoretical. The things we learned in school. So it did not translate in any way in helping my personal life. Just like you read that, okay, I'm a chartered accountant, but I can tell you that in any way it does not translate. We learned it majorly as a bunch of theory, and we didn't see how we can use it in real life. And when I got married, thank God for my wife who had experience in terms of saving money, budgeting. She knew all those things.
Wow.
as in terms of investment, but I never knew anything of such. I never knew anything about savings,
And
budgeting,
she's not a
investment.
chartered accountant.
She's not a chartered accountant.
And
She
you
only
are.
studied accounting.
Okay.
But even me, that I'm a chartered accountant, I studied economics. I was nowhere to be found.
Wow.
So immediately we got married. After we got married and things were going on fine. Meanwhile, while we were cutting, she was trying to ask me some questions about how I handle my finance.
Wow.
Okay, my parents, how were they in terms of money, with the issues of money. But I did not understand. I can't even remember the answer I gave to her then, but it was later she reminded me that I was asking you these questions in order to know, okay, what kind of person am I dealing with when it comes to the issue of money?
Okay.
Because that's a major aspect we are going to talk about tonight,
Right,
which is the foundation.
Right.
Now, so eventually we got married and I was a spender, especially an impulse buyer. I go online, I buy things I see.
Wow.
I'm just an impulse buyer. I believe in spending money. I usually tell people that we were not taught how to make money. The only way we were taught how to make money is go to school, get a good grade, and get a good job. That's the major way we were taught how to make money. But we were not taught how to spend money. Naturally, everyone is a spender.
Yes.
Because
yes.
they give you money, go and buy this one. They give you money, go and buy that one. So even a child that is growing up knows that once they give you money, it is meant to be spent.
Yeah.
So nobody taught me how to save that. Okay, out of every money they give you, there is a need for you to save.
Right.
Even when maybe somehow we got to know about saving, there's this subconsciousness of, okay, I'm saving to consume, which means I want to save this money in order to buy
you know,
maybe television.
I was about asking that question because as you're talking, you know, I was just imagining those days. You know, we had this colo.
Yes.
You know, and it's not just a new invention anyway. It's been old. So I discovered we saved now. Some of us try saving.
Yes, sir.
So why is it that saving has not translated into helping us now?
Okay, sir.
You know. So, but when you said we save to spend,
you save to spend. But there are other reasons for saving. I usually tell people we save for 3 reasons. We save for consumption. It is not bad to save for consumption. You want to buy a nice TV, you want to buy gadgets, you want to buy kitchen utensils, you are saving to buy a car. It is good to save for consumption because that's one of the reasons why we are working. We don't just save to invest, we don't just save for other reasons, because if you are only saving and you are not even enjoying what you are saving for, more or less like you yourself will get fed up on the long run, because you are not enjoying the fruit of your labor. So you enjoy the moments, but don't forget there are other reasons to save. So aside from saving for consumption, you also save for emergencies, for contingencies. God forbid, but life permits.
Right. God forbid, life permits.
So for instance, car suddenly breaks down, body no be wood. I usually tell people sickness suddenly comes up or something. So you need to save for those reasons as well. And number 3 is you save for investment, which means you save for the future. It is very important. I usually tell people that money has a past, money has a present, money has a future. The past of money is the debts maybe the money you have taken in the past, maybe as loan, salary advance, and you have spent it. So now that you are earning money, maybe let's say 500,000 naira, out of that 500,000, a portion should go to the past, which is to service your debts. A portion is meant for the present, which means your present financial obligation. And a portion should go into your future. So every money has a past, it has a present. Now, if you don't have a past, maybe you don't have debt, then good, fine. Which means you only have the present and the future. So let me go back to my experience. So after that, I was a spender, just like I said, but she was trying to ask me those questions, and I was insensitive. I didn't even know the meaning. So there's this. From our wedding, she collected so much gifts, running into. Let me be exact, because when we wanted to pay our tithes, so that it will not be as if I'm just giving a figure, she collected 1.4 million as gifts, cash gifts, aside from other things, when we were to get married. So I was like, money don't land now. Money, So when we got married, I was just collecting the money. Give me 100,000, give me 200,000. And at a point, she thought about it. This man is just spending the money. So she went back to God. That's why I usually advise. I usually suggest to people that marriage is not a one size fits all. Just imagine, sir, hadn't been she went to meet someone to seek advice that this is the kind of husband I married.
Yeah.
But the author of marriage is God.
It's God, yeah.
So before you go, especially as believers, as Christians,
Right.
we have the Holy Spirit. We have the one who instituted marriage.
Marriage.
So she went back to God, and God said, "Let him spend it." Eventually, I splurged everything. I spent everything. She allowed me to spend it.
Okay.
Then, at a point in time, I needed to resign because I knew that it was time for something bigger. So what I planned after resigning did not work out. I started a business. Within a year, the business collapsed.
Wow.
Then, even while the business was struggling, God told me, "Okay, go back, go and sit down at home. You need to learn some things." So eventually, I hit rock bottom.
Oh, wow.
That was when I started learning about finance.
Yeah.
I started reading books. Okay, what is it that I don't know about finance?
About money.
I managed someone's business for 11 years, and I could tell you that the business grew. The figures were there.
Okay.
So it was not as if it was just permutation or extrapolation or speculation. No, the figures were there that this business grew.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, with this experience, I should be able to start my own business and also grow my own business as well.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. So which means, and one mistake people usually make, and I think, is when we do something and that thing fails, we try to generalize it.
The failure.
That we generalize failure, that, business don't work in Nigeria. All this. But I knew that for this thing to have failed, and with what I'm hearing in the spirit, that there are so many things you don't know. It's not just about having the capital to start a business.
Okay.
It's not just about knowing the nuances, knowing the structure. Okay, I know this, I know that. Not is not a bunch of theory.
Right.
There are things you don't know. So I needed to go back home. Then I began to learn about finance, business finance, personal finance.
Sorry to cut you, sir. You said you worked in a business, and that one grew. So what's the difference? That's the question. How did you do it that the first business grew?
Okay.
And when it comes to your own personal, what's the...
Okay. So now when it comes to that, we need to also understand our temperaments.
Okay.
When we say temperaments, and you also need to know, for instance, some people they are leaders. Maybe let me say, for instance, a choleric.
Okay.
A choleric is a leader by nature.
Yeah.
And a choleric, one thing about cholerics, you can tell them, you can say, I want to do this. And before you know it, they are go-getters.
Yeah.
At times, they may not be good leaders. Because one thing about, it depends on the combination. There is no, when we talk about temperaments, it's either you are a combination of choleric and phlegmatic, or you are choleric and melancholy, or you are choleric and sanguine. So it is not a matter of, I'm just choleric. So depending on the other part that you take, we determine, how good you are in terms of being strategic in leadership. Or maybe you are just the type that, you just tell me what you want to do and I run with it. So I noticed that I'm this kind of person that once you give me a vision that this is what we want to do, just leave it for me. I will complete it.
So that's a choleric?
Yes. So now, I noticed that was the kind of person I am.
Okay.
But in terms of me now starting it, having the vision and having to be the one to carry on with it, it was a challenge. So that was the difference. In the other business where I resigned, I only knew that, this man has a vision and he has communicated the vision to me. So you just leave, just let me know the vision and leave with the vision to me.
Okay.
In the other case, I'm the owner of the vision.
You're supposed to start a vision.
You understand? Okay. Now, I know what to do. I know, this is the vision. Now, running with it, it would have been better had it been, I have somebody. Now, I'm now assuming the position of a leader, which is at the top now. That's why in any organization, we usually have 3 levels. We have those at the top. They are the strategic. They come up with the vision. Then they throw it to the tactical. Those are the middle. Then those at the middle now give it to those operational, which is at the base level.
With it, Okay.
Or the tactical is also the management level.
Okay.
We have those, we call them the board of directors. So they communicate the vision to the management, which is the tactical, and eventually those are the management level now tells the operational, and those are the people who do day to day. Now, but when you are starting a business, it entails you now wearing many caps.
Okay.
You are the one doing strategic, you are the one doing tactical, you are the one doing operations.
Okay.
So that's why I usually tell people that before you go into a business, make sure you know what you are doing. And that's why the failure rate of businesses is scary.
It's alarming,
It's alarming because it takes more than just saying, oh, I'm an extrovert, okay, I've managed someone's business, I can do it. Then I learned a lot. So just like so the major difference is knowing the kind of person you are.
You are, okay.
So then combining so many things together, then when I was working, I take the vision, I run with it, but I have other people working under me
with you,
that I can say, you do this. I know how to delegate a lot.
Okay.
But when I started my own business, I was the one doing everything. So at a point, it was overwhelming. The accounting that I would have done perfectly well, I don't have time for accounting again.
Okay.
Because there are other things. I'm the one that will attend to the customer.
You have to publicize. You have to do a whole
I'm the one that will do marketing.
Yes.
I'm the one that will do sales. So all those things, trying to combine all those things together were not just there, and I think that's a major reason why the business failed. And eventually I had to go back home, and that was now how Kavai Digital and Associates was born.
Wow.
And in the process I learned so many things.
That's quite a story. In the course of what you were sharing, I remembered mine too, because the next issue I want us to discuss is around, for people who are yet to get married.
Okay, sir.
Actually, this podcast is majorly for them and those in marriage. I believe those in marriage can also learn one or two things. Perhaps those that didn't pick up all these things before getting married, can go back and understand these things. Now, while I was about getting married, so just like you said, this finance thing sounded so strange. When somebody's asking you, so what about money? The general question is not like saying, how are you? It's fine.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Is it not money? We'll work, we'll earn money, and we'll pay school fees when the time comes, we'll do all those things. But, it's more than that. For the benefit of those that are yet to get married, I'm listening to this. Now, the question I'm going to put to you on their behalf now is, how should it be discussed? Like I said, when we want to get married, some things, we have counselors. In fact, counselors hardly even ask those.
Yes,
they don't touch.
Yes, sir.
It was recently I was telling my wife, I said, see, if I'm a counselor now, there are some brutal questions.
Yeah.
I won't pity. I will ask them because these are things we experienced.
Yes, sir.
But unfortunately, we were not really drilled. We were not asked. We were just
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Is it working? Funny enough, it's so funny. I had no job when I got married. For me, it was majorly of should I say this religious faith in quotes.
Faiths.
There's a way young people faith things, particularly believers. Don't worry. This is it not this?
Yes, sir.
And at the end of the day, we don't have everything together. So what do you want to say to such people?
Okay, so just like one thing we see now is out of 10 divorces that we're having in the law courts, 4 out of it, the major cause of 4 is finance.
Out of 10,
out of
4.
4. The other is infidelity and communication. Infidelity
4.
and communication. So finance, infidelity, and communication.
Majorly, okay.
So if 4 out of 10 is finance, then it means it's worth paying attention to.
Yes, a lot.
We should not just try to faith it. While we understand that we are people of faith, but God has given us a brain.
Right.
He said we should plan. There's a need to plan. So part of the things we should also plan is our finance. We should not just leave it to chance or leave it to happenstance. It's a matter that we need to discuss.
Right.
Okay. Now, the matter is, both of you grew up in a separate family.
Right.
And I believe something. Every child was born blank. We were born with no ideas. So if we were born with no ideas, everything we learned about money, where did we learn it from? These are roots. These are foundation. The Bible says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Now, if we don't discuss this issue during our courtship as singles, then when are we going to discuss it? For instance, one is a spender, one is a saver. It's an issue. Yeah. You have two different operating software. I usually call it financial operating software or financial programming coming together.
Yeah.
So one believes in, let me spend, another believes in saving. If only we can come together during our courtship days and discuss, okay, you are a saver, I'm a spender. Which one is beneficial for our future? Which one is beneficial for our marriage?
Right.
Then you begin to look at it, you begin to recognize patterns. Then when we talk about this programming, just like I said, every child was born blank, was born with no ideas. So which means everything we know about money, we picked it from our family members, from our father and our mother, from culture, from our background, from religion, from school. Those were the ways we picked all those programming. Because every child was born blank with no idea. So now we have the father, we have the mother. They come together. The child, and according to psychologists, everything a child is going to pick from the father and the mother, between the first 7 years, it would have picked it.
Yes.
So that's why they usually tell us that they pick so many things by watching, not by what we say.
By what we say, by
you
watching.
are thinking that you are going to program them by what you are saying. No, they are picking it by watching.
By watching.
So they are watching the way you are spending money. For instance, a young lady, young girl who is just growing up, every time, mommy, I want biscuits. Mommy says, go and meet daddy. Mommy, I want eraser. Go and meet daddy. So in the subconscious mind of that girl, the mother is already programming that the father is the sole provider of everything.
The family.
So such a girl had that mindset, and you know, the mind is already divided into two. We have the subconscious mind and the conscious mind.
Right.
90% of what we do is being orchestrated by the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
So subconsciously, the lady believes that it is the man that provides. So if you don't discuss this issue of background, what do you know about money? What did you see about money? What was your experience about money? What do you know about savings? If we don't discuss it, then before you know it, I made a post of recent. I've not even posted it, but I think it's already on the platform where we do that. A major issue, if you and your wife, your spouse, you are always arguing about money. It is not money that is the issue. It is your financial programming. It is your financial software. So you need to do something called financial operating software assessments. FOS assessments.
FOS assessments.
I remember there was a couple at a point in time they came together. I remember that they were trying to have the assessment. The thing was not just working. And I was like, they still have a long way to go. You need to see because it's when you recognize that you can now understand, this is our issue. For instance, a lady that sees the parents, they are stingy. And she was like, no. Because there's something also called the revenge mechanism. The revenge mechanism says, my father and my mother, they are so stingy. Me, I will not be stingy.
I won't be.
So already the lady is being programmed as, I'm not going to be stingy.
Yes.
So any money that comes into her hand, she just believes
I don't want to be like
I don't want to be like them.
Parents,
So that's revenge. So it is when you discuss in courtship or as singles that you begin to know, okay, so what is the next thing? What can we do to help our own marriage? This matter needs to be discussed. Knowing your operating software, what are the things you learned about money? What were the things you knew growing up about money? What were the things you had about money? It's important.
So So as parents now, still in the same line of discussion, as parents, this is just so deep. Okay, now, as parents, how do we consciously, like you said, children pick, they're like sponge. They just pick, they see, and somehow they just observe, and that's all. They won't say anything, but they've learned, something has been, saved somewhere. So how do we ensure that, at the point I was imagining writing a book, and of course I would do that. It's preparing your child for marriage. No. At the point, the topic sounds strange. Like, the picture of the book, everything was just, I just pictured a boy and a girl, child, getting married and all that. Because from this discussion, I just pictured that every day, parents are preparing their children for marriage.
Yes, sir.
In every area.
Yes, sir.
So what happens at the end of the day is a result of what had happened all through the parenting period. So for finance now, as a parent or as parent listening, how can parents consciously, program their children excellently to be balanced when it comes to, of course, not the spender, not the oversaver and all that. So what's the balance here? A recommendation for parents.
Okay. So number one, just like you said, is the consciousness to be deliberate.
Right.
Don't leave it to chance that they will know it. No, that's an assumption. I usually tell people that assumption is the lowest level of knowledge. Okay. You don't assume.
You don't assume.
Especially when training a child or training people. You don't assume that the person knows it.
Okay.
There's a need for you to communicate it, to let the person know. Now, having said that, the number two is, aside from being deliberate, is what are the principles?
Okay.
I usually tell people we live by principles.
Yeah.
Especially as Christians, we live by biblical principles.
Yeah.
So what are the principles to teach our children?
Yeah.
For instance, there's this error we have seen over time. And people have taken it, soaked it in as a sponge, which is any man that cannot provide for his own household is worse than an infidel.
Okay.
The Bible never said so, sir.
Oh, really?
The Bible said anyone, not any man.
Okay.
So more or less, like, it's a principle. So it is not the onus or the responsibility does not just lie on the man.
On the man.
It is anyone.
Anyone.
It is stated in the Bible.
Okay. Wow.
So letting the child know, for instance, that anyone who cannot. So you are teaching your girl child that principle, for instance, that the Bible says anyone who cannot provide for his household is worse than an infidel.
So it's not gender specific.
It's not gender specific.
Household doesn't even mean a man, being the head of the house or whatever.
Sir.
Okay.
So you're already helping that lady to know, or that young girl to know that, it is not a matter of my husband that, is the breadwinner. No. Principle of openness, for instance, that, let the child know that whatever you are telling mommy, or if you are asking money from mommy or daddy, it's from a joint purse. I usually tell people that you may not have a joint account, but the matter is, it is household income. It is not the man's money is our money. My own money as a woman is my own money. No, that is an error from the Babylonian system. I don't know where it came from. But what the Bible made us to understand, it is household. One has become, two has become one. The Bible says, what God has joined together, let not man put asunder. So if God says, let not man put asunder, is it money that will not put asunder? So then don't let money divide you. So let it be apparent. Let it be obvious to the child. We should be deliberate about it. It is not a matter of we want to pay school fees, anything we want to pay for, it is the man. Or some women, they even want to let the children know that the father is irresponsible. They should not know. They should know that, okay, we have a joint purse. It is household income. So
even when perhaps maybe one of them is not actively working,
yes, sir.
He should look as though, I mean, my parents gave me.
Yes, sir. My parents gave me, not daddy gave me or mommy gave me.
Okay.
No.
All right, sir.
So, and when we talk about, let me quickly go back to the issue of counselors.
Okay.
And I pray that these are issues we shy away from, especially in the church.
Right.
We don't want to talk about money. The moment you are talking about money, it looks as if we are becoming carnal.
Yes.
Forgetting that finance is a major aspect of our life. We come to church maybe once or twice a week, but we go to work 5 days to 6 days a week, every day. Why?
And we spend every day.
And we spend
even in church.
Yet we think it's not an issue that.
But sir, before you go further, why we need to explore that mindset, because it's a mindset, and this podcast actually is addressing certain mindset, I believe. So, why is it that people, believers or church people, find it inconvenient when we talk about money? You know, is it a cultural? I mean, what's that programming? What's the OS responsible for that?
It's the devil himself that is behind it.
Right.
He knows that a wealthy church is a powerful church.
Okay.
So the moment you are not discussing wealth.
Yes.
I was once in the world, for instance.
Okay.
When we go to clubs, when we go to beer parlor, then I remember Stadium 2005, 2006, we discuss business, we discuss money. Even when the next person that will be commissioner, all these matters, they are discussed in those settings. Do you understand? Even then, when we talk about this is going to be the SUG president, all those are the places where we discuss it. The next person that will be the president of Nigeria, this and that, those are the places where they discuss. Now, and the world is against, more or less, like the devil does not have issue prospering his people.
Right.
And how do we learn about finance? Is it that we do it the kingdom way or the Babylonian way?
Yeah.
And that's why we see that just because the devil has now sponsored it in such a way that the moment we begin to talk about money, it begins to raise up some people. No, we should preach the gospel. We should not preach all those things.
It looks like, it looks like something holy. Like, go back
don't discuss money. Meanwhile, people are suffering. Meanwhile, if we don't teach people how to make money, how to manage money, and that's why we have people now talking against tithe today.
Yes.
You know why, sir?
Please.
Because people came to church.
Okay.
They gave God 10%. They do not know how to manage 90%. They do not know anything about managing money, which is saving money, budgeting money, protecting their money.
Okay.
They know nothing about investments. So eventually they splurge the 90%.
Yes.
They come back to church and say it is the 10% they gave the church.
Yes.
So the matter is, if you do the right thing with the 10%, but you do the wrong thing with the 90%, you will be a broke tither. Of
course. Obviously. Okay.
So we need to teach people even in the church. Money. It is balance.
Yeah.
I've been in the marketplace. I'll be in a church tomorrow ministering on Christian in the marketplace.
Okay, awesome.
In one of our youth church.
Wow.
Now, Christian in the marketplace, because I've been in the marketplace and I see the way Christians compromise in the marketplace. The level of compromise is on the high level.
Wow.
And why? Because we all pretend to act as if everything is all right in the church.
In the church, right.
Meanwhile, outside church, at home front, it is something else. Yeah. So it is the devil himself attacking the church. Even when you go on social media today, the moment they see a pastor preaching on wealth, on finance, they will tell all these motivational speakers instead of them to preach the gospel.
Meanwhile, those people even saying that they don't even know anything about it. When you preach the gospel, some of them they don't. I discovered, in fact,
didn't Jesus himself teach about money?
He did.
He thought about money.
He did, yeah.
He thought about finance. He thought about investments. When he gave 10 talents, 5 talents, then 1 talent.
Right.
It was about investment. He said at least we would have gone to save the money and at least have interest. Interest is all about money.
Yes.
It's all about investments.
Absolutely.
When he was talking about what shall it profit a man that he gains this whole world
yes,
and loses, those were financial terms.
Yes.
Because, sir, wealth is spiritual.
It is.
Wealth is spiritual.
It is.
I once had it in 2010 that if you want to be okay, you want to be comfortable, the devil is not after you. But the moment you want to move above a certain level,
right, it's after you.
It's either you are in a secret cult or in a secret place.
Yes.
So wealth is spiritual. And one thing about the marketplace, the world system, is that it belongs to the devil. He said it in Luke chapter 4. He told Jesus when he showed him the glory of the world, he said it has been delivered to me and I can give it to anyone I wish.
I will. So just
he said the only way I can give it to is you bow. So a Christian in the marketplace, if you are not ready to bow through compromise, bribery, corruption, be ready to suffer.
That's true.
Except you are competent, you are excellent, you are a man of the secret place.
Yes.
If all these ingredients are not there, then forget about it.
There's a level.
There's a level.
Yes,
you will just be okay.
That's true.
It's really a warfare. So the devil is the one orchestrating that mindset in the heart of people. That the moment you begin to discuss money in church, you are becoming carnal. You are becoming carnal. So we tend to shy away from it. But the truth is, there's a need for balance.
There is. In fact, for the propagation of the gospel, there's
a need for balance.
There is. So we are talking about, we have to just branch by to discuss it. There's something we're discussing before now.
The raising up of children.
Raising children, okay, the mindset and all that. Now, let's even, we've talked about this, and parents, I believe, has learned how to teach their children deliberately about wealth.
Yes, sir.
So, and we can't even give what we do not have.
Yes, sir.
So, looking at it from that angle, now, what do you recommend? Now, from the angle you just came in from, parents should model,
yes,
this
sir.
and all that. Now, what would you recommend for parents themselves? Are you recommending a formal financial school, or mentor or reading? Just gloss around that. How do we increase our financial IQ as parents? Even?
Okay. Number one is to first tell yourself to decide.
Okay.
That I want to know about finance.
Okay.
So when you decide, you have made it a decision.
Yeah.
Now you need to be committed. Okay, I'm committed. Some people decided, but they were not committed
to it.
For instance, when we're entering 2025, people made New Year resolution.
It's hot. Yeah.
But ask now.
It's cold.
How many people are still committed to that resolution? Many people have gone back. And that's why I usually tell people that instead of saying New Year resolution, set goals. Now, after you have set goals, okay, I want to know about finance. I don't want to leave it to chance. I don't want to leave it to happenstance. Number two is to be committed. When you say you are committed, how do I intend to do it? It is not enough to say what. Okay, I'm going to do it. Those are the things. The next thing is how. Okay, am I going to be attending seminars? Am I going to start listening to podcasts? Okay, what are the books to read? Because for you to reprogram yourself, I'm telling you, sir, reprogramming takes time.
It takes time.
In my journey to personal development, self-development, I can tell you that reprogramming takes time.
And programming is so easy. It's subconscious.
Programming is so easy.
Effortless.
Especially the bad habits. Bad habits are easy to form, but very hard to do away with it.
Yeah.
But good habits are very hard to form, but very, very hard to form, but very easy at the end to live with. So when we talk about programming, it takes time. So it is not something that you are going to achieve within 6 months.
Okay.
It is not something that you are going to achieve because you need, it's more or less like a recalibration.
Yes, it's hard.
So tell yourself, I'm committed. If it is once in a month, I will attend seminar. Oh, I have specific people that I need to go and buy their books
Yes.
to learn about finance. So being deliberate, being committed to it.
To that, yeah.
I'm going to read a book on finance every month. Or these are how to. Don't just leave it to chance that I'm going to do it. What are you going to do?
What
How
exactly?
do you intend to do it?
Yeah.
For instance, when I open my routine to people, some people just wonder, how
do you cope?
How do you cope? How do you do all these things that you talk about?
Wow.
It's all about setting systems.
Systems.
There's a time you must do this. If you leave it to chance that, oh, I'm going to do it, and you don't put a time to it, if you don't do it, what is the punishment?
Yes.
These are the things you do.
Accountability partners.
Accountability.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm supposed to read a chapter of finance per day. If I don't read it, there's a punishment for me. Maybe the next day, or maybe set all those goals and systems. Make sure they are in place. Then eventually.
Wow. You know the way it sounds is this principle is a principle you can apply everywhere.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to achieving any goal. I love where you started from. I mean, that desire, that being desperate is a warfare, like you said.
Yes,
and it you can't just, it's like a grip. Leaving that grip, you have to be desperate.
Yes, sir.
So for everybody listening to this podcast, this is a whole lot to take home from here. Now, if you are in a financial situation, that is needing help, or perhaps you have no knowledge whatsoever about finance, or you're trying to build a family and you do not have this template, you've been subconsciously programmed, and you do things on auto. Of course, it's normal to earn money, then to spend money, but from this, you've discovered that it takes a whole lot. It's more than that. You can't just. Somebody said you can't work yourself to the point of being a millionaire. Actually, if you are, and that's the truth. So it takes being intentional. Even if one attains that million, you don't even know when it goes down and you are off. So building wealth is intentional, is deliberate. It's something that should be very deliberate. And by the way, sir, our school system, I think there is a fault. Now, I heard of a professor in is it mechanical engineering or something, whose car got faulty and he was stranded. He's a professor. He knows everything about this stuff. He can tell you alloy and every but his car broke down. He couldn't do anything. It was later, I think somebody had to help him, a professor. So what's wrong with, I'm very angry with our educational system. That's one thing. I really, really am very, very mad at the way but let's just leave that. But now, what would you say about the system, our curriculum as a whole, and what could be done to ensure that when we release kids to go to school, particularly in the area of finance, we can be sure that they are learning, and their learning can be translated into their future, being.
Okay, so number one is the aspect of practicality.
Okay, practicality.
It's not as if we didn't do budgeting.
Okay.
There's no way. I usually tell people, first the HND in accounting, BSc economics, PGD financial management, Masters business administration. Then before you become a chartered accountant, you must have enough exams. In all these things, I've done budgeting.
Wow.
But I don't budget in real life. Because those budgeting were taught theoretically. So the matter is, how can we begin to teach it practically, that when we are teaching students in class, are they doing it in their personal life?
Yes.
Sir, I did economics in UI. Don't be surprised that on a normal day, the lecturers that taught us, they could teach us how the stock markets, how it works, talking about the capital markets.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, okay, how do I open a brokerage firm? They will not be able
They
to say
don't.
anything.
Wow.
Because that is the practicality of it.
So I mean, okay.
So now, just like we do when it comes to medicine,
okay.
Lawyers, for instance, after you have done part 1 to 4 in medicine, for instance, you go to medical school for practical.
Yes, for practice. That's true.
That's what. But even when we do it in courses like accounting, they will tell you go and do IT for 1 year. You are going to work for a firm, for a company. It is not personal.
Yes.
The matter is, how can this person apply it to a personal life?
Can they be told to start a business? You know,
yes.
Let's evaluate. What's the progress?
Evaluate.
Let's see.
So it is this aspect of practicality. Because you know, when you are teaching finance and investments, people are asking, and because in your journey to the wealthy place, you need to learn something called delayed gratification. Okay, I will say this on here. You need to learn something called delayed gratification.
Okay.
For instance, you have 20 million naira. You see somebody who has 20 million naira buying a car of 18 million naira.
20 million, it's okay.
That's the life people are living. Meanwhile, you should be thinking of how would I make this 20 million become 100 million? That is what is called delayed gratification. But we are not taught delayed gratification. Everybody wants to prove a point. So on your way to the wealthy place, you don't prove point to anybody.
You don't prove point.
It's a result that will show on its own when you get to that level.
And sorry, this delayed gratification you talked about, you know, I'm going to say it's a very hard thing.
It's hard.
Very hard.
It
Because
takes discipline.
it's almost like I was trying to teach my toddler that principle, because I discover many mistakes we make as adults.
Okay,
you know, we can't just take our eyes off. We want to buy this thing immediately.
Yes, sir.
So I was using the aspect of food. You know, I discovered, wow, seeing children grow, there's a whole lot of lessons to learn. I discovered it is nature.
Yes, sir.
There's this thing about nature, about
consumption.
They just want to So I told her, see, guy, we are going to teach this delayed gratification. This girl was learning now.
Yes, sir.
Because I know there's a way to
It's very important you inculcate that
is a habit. Yes.
That's why the Bible says, when I was a child, I behaved like a child. I spoke like a child. But when I'm an adult, when I became an adult, I put away childish things.
Okay.
One of the things that is common with children is consumption. Give a child money now, a child that is just growing up. The next thing is inside the mouth. Give him spoon or anything inside the mouth. Almost everything inside the mouth. That's why they usually give them all this toy so that they could use it. A child thinks of consumption. It's nature.
So sir, poverty is nature.
So, for instance, you make money, the next thing you want to let people know, the next thing, change your wristwatch, change your all your clothing. That's the way we are. So, but if you want to build real wealth, you must learn delayed gratification. So it is delayed gratification versus instant gratification.
Okay.
So the next thing you want to change your car, you have 20 million naira, but the matter is let the money, let it grow. Let the money work for you. It may take you another 5 years before one needs to learn delayed gratification. So coming back to the aspect of practicality, is what we think God is saying, go out and teach now.
Okay.
That's see the aspect of practicality, not the aspect of theory. A company reached out to me yesterday. They reached out to me last week, and they said, okay, they've seen my content on TikTok, on Instagram, that I teach practicals, and they want to bring me on their platform, this and that. And when they were talking about it, I said, okay, no problem. It's something I love teaching. I love teaching. So this aspect of practicality, that this thing is practicable.
Right.
That you can discipline yourself, you can build wealth. Only learn how to delay gratification by saving, by knowing how to budget, by knowing how to protect your money. You don't need to prove points to anybody. People are not even looking like you. There's something called the spotlight effect.
Okay.
Sir, this light now is being shown on us.
Yes.
It's shining on us. The moment we leave this spot, you have your own challenge, I have my own challenge.
No more light.
So you think everybody is looking at you. Everyone has their own challenge.
Actually.
So it is a spotlight effect that we think everybody is looking at you. You want to go to a party, you don't have money for a new clothes. You think you must borrow in order to buy a new clothes. After that party, what next? You come back to come and pay that debt. And that's why many people they are languishing in the squalor of debt.
Yes. And nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Everyone has his own challenge.
God.
Let me cite this example. One day I was I think on Okeke Road or something. A guy came to me and said, okay, this is your car. Said, you've been using this car for a while. He said this in Yoruba. This person has never bought a bicycle.
And he said,
as
though he's an experienced. Wow.
So the person, now, some people would have gotten home and said, and the next day, the money you are supposed to put inside the investment and let it grow. Because let me tell you, sir, in studying rich people, before a rich man can buy a luxurious car, he already has money to buy a minimum of 3.
Yes. Usually, I think I heard that kind of money is not, there's a way they call it. It's not their main money.
It's not their main money.
They call it,
it's fruits. Right? Fruit. It is not seed.
Not the seed.
Matthew Ashimolowo said before he bought Oma, he said, I have money to buy 10, minimum of 10.
Wow.
So when people saw that I bought one, they said, because, sir, when you have money, you have 10 million, and you buy a car of less than 9 million.
Okay.
You are inviting crabs, a deluge of crabs into your life. You are inviting people that money don't rest before you can buy a car.
A car, right.
But by the time you have money to buy at least 5, and you are buying one, to them, he has money now.
Money, yeah.
So when you are giving somebody 10,000 at that point in time, you already have 1 million naira, but you are giving the person 10,000, and the person will be grateful.
Yes.
But when you are buying a car, you have 10 million, and you are buying a car of 9 million. And the person comes and you are saying, I don't have money.
They are wicked.
You are wicked.
Yes.
Meanwhile, you took loan to buy the car. These are things that people
principles,
don't know.
yeah. Living below your
means.
Your means, yeah.
Why you increase your means. You don't need to prove to anybody.
Wow.
Where were those who proved to people yesterday? I usually tell people, Baba Obe sang a song, Alowo Majaye, and just because of that, you are spending your money. Or if only you know that Baba will collect royalty, even after he's dead. After he's dead, his children will still be collecting royalty on that song. And you are spending every money you have. You don't have intellectual property, you don't have royalty, you have nothing. I think many things are wrong, and we need to come back to that practicality.
Wow.
Practicality.
I mean, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so thank you so much for that. I mean, this conversation has been mind